Number 8. Rainbow Mountains, China. The mythical Rainbow Mountains of China within the Zhangye Doxiad Landform Geological Park are a geological wonder of the world. These Chinese mountains are famous for their otherworldly colors that mimic a rainbow painted over the tops of rolling mountains. The colorations are caused by various diagenetic and mineralogical processes that make up the reds, greens, yellows, and blues. Some will argue that this is one of the coolest places on Earth, and the planet seems to agree, seeing as the area was named an UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2009. Number 7. Moraine Lake, Canada. Set in the rugged valley of Canada's 10 Peaks is Moraine Lake, a place surrounded by mountains, waterfalls, and rock piles, creating a scene so stunning it almost seems unreal. The lake's waters are the most magical color, a vivid shade of turquoise that changes in intensity through the summer as the glaciers melt. Its brilliant blue-green color is a result of light refracting off fine particles of rock in the glacier runoff, which flows into the lake. Because it's at an elevation of 6,183 feet, the lake doesn't begin to melt until June, which is when water levels rise and its magical color peak and make for some pristine photography. Number 6. Huacachina, Peru. If you didn't think paradise could exist in the middle of nowhere, then check out this Peruvian desert oasis 5 hours south of Lima. Huacachina is a tiny village with green waters at its center, forming the Huacachina Lagoon. Ringed by palm trees and thought to have therapeutic properties, the lagoon shores are dotted with bars and clubs. Dune buggies run across the high, rolling sand dunes surrounding the village. This jaw-dropping place allows tourists to witness the breathtaking sand dunes from an entirely different perspective, and for anyone adventurous enough, can try sandboarding down the dunes for an unforgettable experience. Number 5. Northern Lake Baikal, Russia. If you thought the Huacachina Lagoon was something, then Lake Baikal is going to blow you away. Located in Russia, it is considered the largest lake by volume in the entire world, and also the deepest. It is also the oldest lake in the world, home to 1,800 endemic plant species, and and more incredibly, it holds 20% of the world's freshwater supply. It's no wonder UNESCO named it a World Heritage Site back in 1996. The lake is situated in south-central Russia, very close to the Mongolian border, and represents an unspoiled beauty locals refer to as the Sacred Sea. And we'd have to agree with that nickname. Number 4. Nika Mine, Mexico. If you're into trippy places, then here's a hidden gem you should definitely visit when in Mexico. This stunning crystal cave known as Nika Mine is situated in Chihuahua, Mexico, and extends up to 985 feet below surface. The crystals are said to have been formed by underground magma approximately 500,000 years ago. Because this fascinating cave is so deep below the ground, it can only be visited under direct professional supervision. But this once-in-a-lifetime experience is sure worth getting a guide. Number 3. Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, Japan. The Arashiyama Bamboo Grove is one of Kyoto's top sites, and for good reason. Standing amid these soaring stalks of bamboo is like being in a whole other world. Sadly, there are no bamboo-eating pandas to be seen in Arashiyama, but the walking paths that cut through the groves make for an otherworldly walk or bicycle ride. They are particularly attractive when there is a light wind, and the tall bamboo stalks sway gently back and forth. Naturally, the bamboo has been used to manufacture various products, such as baskets, cups, boxes, and mats at local workshops for centuries. Subscriber pick. It's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber wondering about this mythical waterfall that looks like it's from paradise. If you come across a mysterious photo online and want us to look into it, just send it over and we may even feature it on a future video. Now, we looked into this photo and are sorry to say that it's probably photoshopped. However, there is a waterfall that comes very close to looking like the one in this fantasy picture. And that's number 2, Victoria Falls. Now, it may not look exactly like the imaginary waterfall in the picture, but the real-life Victoria Falls presents a spectacular sight of awe-inspiring beauty and grandeur that would have landed them on today's list either way. Located on the Zambezi River, These magical falls form the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. The Kololo tribe who lived in the area in the 1800s described these falls as Mozi a Tonya, which translates to the smoke that thunders. It's no wonder they gave it such an impactful name, considering Victoria Falls is known as the greatest curtain of falling water in the world. Columns of spray can be seen from many miles away, and at the height of the rainy season, over 100 billion gallons of water over the edge every minute, over a width of 1.2 miles, into a valley more than 100 meters below. Before we reveal number 1, be sure to check out other amazing videos on our channel, and give us a like if you enjoyed this video so far. Tell us in comments which one of these you like the most and why. Number 1. Grand Prismatic Spring, Wyoming. Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming is in and of itself one of the most beautiful places on the planet. But, without a doubt, its most mythical and inspiring feature is the Grand Prismatic Spring. The unbelievable colors on its beach give the scene an otherworldly appearance that makes a visit feel surreal. The prismatic itself is 165 feet deep, making it not only the most colorful, but also the largest lake in the entire United States. It is also the third largest lake in the world. For obvious reasons, the Grand Prismatic Spring is the most photographed feature of Yellowstone. It needs no explanation why this enchanted spring made it to the top of our list. It is definitely worth a visit. After dogs, and that's it. Cats and fish, birds are one of the most popular house pets in the world, and for good reason. With their astonishing colors and feathers, these flying beauties give contrast to our plain blue skies, teaching us to appreciate freedom and nature. But, as with anything rare and exotic, some of these colorful flyers come at a sky-high price. So if you're thinking of buying, or wondering just how high we're talking, you'll want to stick around, because today, we're counting down the 10 most expensive birds in the world. If you didn't expect a chicken to outrank an exotic parrot or a multicolored toucan, then stay tuned for number 1, because the price tag on these seemingly ordinary birds will boggle your mind for the rest of the day. Alright, let's get to it. Number 10. The Northern Cardinal, $800. Small, bright red, and so full of life, the small Northern Cardinal has quite an intriguing history. Some Native American tribes used to believe that they were responsible for carrying messages to our ancestors on the other side, and they weren't referring to the other side of town, if you know what I mean. Perhaps their spiritual value would explain the staggering price tag on these birds. Or maybe it's the coolness factor they get from flying around with that ridiculous mohawk. Be it as it may, one of these bright red flyers will set you back about $800. But hey, it might be well worth it if you're trying to communicate with your great-great-grandmother or something like that. Number 9. The Northern Oriole, $850. This bright yellow bird is known as a composite species, meaning it's a cross between the eastern Baltimore Oriole and the western Bullock's Oriole. Although orioles are primarily an American bird, these small flyers have done a surprising amount of globetrotting. They have been seen in Europe and on the shores of Ireland and England. That's quite a few miles for such a little fellow to fly. Whether it's their propensity for long-distance travel, or the bright yellow color that makes them so expensive, we don't know. But the price on one of these little stars goes from $850 and upwards. Number 8. The Mountain Bluebird, $850. There's just something about these little blue stunners that captures the eye and holds it there. Perhaps it's their incredible color that clashes with just about any other color in nature. It's not hard to see why a mountain bluebird can set you back around $850. Lucky for you though, mountain bluebirds are a fairly common species and take readily to man-made nest boxes. So if you live in the right area, it's possible you might attract a whole family of these treasured little birds without having to spend even a dime. Number 7. Flamingo, $1,000. Next on our list is a tropical bird that's better suited for your backyard and might even need a pool. With its exotic pink color, it's no wonder so many people get the plastic version for their lawns. Or perhaps it's just due to price. seeing as the live version of this cool bird would set you back about $1,000. It's alright though, flamingos are way happier in wild flocks. The unique pink color comes from their diet of shrimp, and as you might have guessed, they are very good swimmers. Even though they don't look aerodynamic, a flamingo can fly up to 35 miles per hour. Quite impressive considering those long legs. Number 6. Green-white peacocks, $1,250. Peacocks are popular pets, with people eager to show off this bright ornamental bird in their backyards. Regular peacocks are rare enough as it is, but some people are prepared to pay an even heftier price for the white and green varieties of this majestic bird. The Java green peafowl is a brightly colored subspecies of the green peacock, and a rare beauty found exclusively on the island of Java. But with all these bright colors amongst the species, the plain white peacock seems to have a novelty effect, with people willing to pay up to $1,250 for just a single bird. Number 5. Ayam Cemani chicken, $2,500. If you didn't think chickens could be rare and exotic, think again, because sometimes it's all about the color. Although its eggs are a normal color, the Ayam Cemani chicken hatches to be completely black. And we're not just talking about feathers, but also its eyes and skin. Even if you did decide to consume this rare bird for lunch, even its meat would be completely jet black. And no wonder these flightless birds have been called the Lamborghini of chickens. And their price tag shows it. If you wanted to keep a Cemani chicken, in your backyard, it would set you back around $2,500. Number 4. Toucan, $8,000. To no surprise, these flyers and their long iconic beaks have made our list of most expensive birds. Beaks aside though, there are over 40 different species of toucans, and they come in a variety of magnificent colors. It's no wonder this tropical bird made the front cover of our children's favorite cereal brand. And owning a real one could cost you a staggering $8,000. And that's not the only price you'll be paying. Toucans are very noisy roommates, and known for their raspy, extremely loud chirping. So, unless you're ready to pay with your sanity as well, this bird is probably best left in the rainforest and on your next box of Fruit Loops. Number 3. Hyacinth macaw, $40,000. The price tag on this indigo beauty can soar as high as $40,000, and one look will tell you why. The hyacinth macaw is a South American parrot known for its indigo blue feathers and yellow cheeks. They are one of the most sought-after parrots in the world, and yes, one of the most threatened by extinction. Colors aside, these majestic birds are also highly intelligent. But while they're easy to train, they're also very expensive to house and feed. Although that shouldn't be a problem if you can afford to buy one in the first place. Oh, and they can crack a coconut with their beak, which is pretty cool if you're not the one holding it. Number 2. Palm or Goliath cockatoo, $16,000. If you thought the black chicken was impressive, wait until you hear about this color-changing parrot. The palm cockatoo, also known as the Goliath cockatoo, is a stunning, jet black parrot with a prominent pair of red cheeks. What makes it even more extraordinary is that the patches on its cheeks quite literally change color when the bird gets excited over something. A majestic palm cockatoo could easily cost you around $1.4 million. Number 1 on our list is a bird species you've seen so many times, you probably don't even notice them anymore. And yet, some of these gray city dwellers are sought after for their incredible speed. As pigeon racing have gained in popularity
on that island, they're going to be gone for good. In fact, they are so rare and endangered that at last count there were only 79 left on the island, and despite efforts, they are still targeted by poachers. Their only defense mechanism is camouflage, and they have a symbiotic relationship with algae, which helps them to hide. Number 12. The Sunda rhino. Also known as the Javan rhinoceros, the Sunda rhino at one time was spread all over South Asia as part of its natural order, but over time the species became confined to Ujung Kulon National Park in Indonesia. Now it's one of the rarest animals in the world. It's so rare, in fact, that there are only about 60 left in existence today. A large reason for that is the same reason that many other species of rhino are endangered and critically endangered: poaching. The sunda rhino is often hunted for its horn, even though it is much smaller than most other rhinos, but that doesn't stop people from hunting and killing them. Poaching isn't the only thing hurting this rhino's population. Habitat destruction and development are also hurting them. They are usually solitary and are very quiet, hiding in the forest. Number 11. Metallic tarantula. The metallic tarantula may not be made of metal, but it is real. Not to be confused with the cobalt blue tarantula, the metallic tarantula is also known as the Guti sapphire ornamental tree spider. It was first recorded in 1899 and then was rediscovered in 2001 in India. They are very rare, as you've probably guessed, and are only found in an area of less than 100 square kilometers. Their habitat is shrinking due to habitat destruction, like most other creatures on this list, and they are very hard to study. They can fetch a high price on the black market since they're so hard to find. Good news is there are captive breeding programs, and scientists are still hoping to learn more about why these creatures are blue. The new field of biomimicry could help boost support to protect this spider. Number 10. The northern murikui. This woolly spider monkey, known as the northern murikui, is found in Brazil. These rare creatures are rather unusual in regards to their personality. They believe in equality for all, males and females, which is not something you see in the animal kingdom that often. This monkey is also the tallest of the New World monkeys and can grow to over 4 feet tall. It is one of the world's most critically endangered primates, and because there is such a small group left, there is not enough genetic diversity to keep them healthy. Their jungle habitats make it hard for scientists to study, and conservation efforts are still ongoing. There are about 500 to 1,000 of these monkeys left. And now for number 10. But first, if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you are new here, be sure to subscribe and join the notification squad. Number 9. The hairy-nosed wombat. There are only 3 different kinds of wombat in the world, and the hairy-nosed wombat almost went completely extinct. They used to be all over Australia, as a century ago they were introduced to various parts of the continent, including New South Wales and Queensland. Now, though, they are only in Queensland and Epping Forest National Park. A recent survey done in 2015 showed that these wombats aren't doing so well, as their population numbers are only around 230 in total. This number makes them one of the rarest land mammals on the planet. However, there is good news. It looks like they are starting to do well, even though they are confined to a small area. The problem is that, like the monkeys, it results in a lack of genetic variation, and inbreeding is a concern. Wombats are nocturnal and live in burrows. They love to eat certain kinds of grass, but have had to compete with livestock and invasive grass species. Their population is being closely monitored to see if they can make a comeback. Number 8. The angel shark. The angel shark is one of the few breeds of shark that look like other sea creatures, mainly rays and skates, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise due to the fact that they are technically cousins. The angel shark has a flat body and large pectoral fins, and when it is not camouflaging itself on the ocean floor, it looks rather majestic as it glides through the water. It's an ambush predator that lives in the northeastern Atlantic, but it has disappeared from many areas. For a long time, they were considered nothing more than another fish in the ocean, but then in the 80s, suddenly everyone wanted to eat them. The fad passed, but they are often caught as bycatch in trawl fisheries. They are labeled as a critically endangered species and have been declared extinct in the North Sea. Number 7. The elephant shrew. This creature is not what you might expect. First and foremost, the elephant shrew is not actually a shrew at all. Also known as senjis, they are more closely related to elephants. Surprise! They are only about 10 inches long, and they only weigh an ounce or 2, but it's true, they are more related to aardvarks and elephants than to shrews. Their long, flexible snouts can twist around and is very sensitive, just like an elephant's. There are 19 species of elephant shrews found across southern Africa, and they happily eat bugs. It also isn't afraid to run away, and it's quick like a bunny. This creature can go 18 miles an hour with its long rear legs. They are most active during the day and are often trapped and eaten by humans. This, along with deforestation, agriculture, and logging, makes the elephant shrew extremely rare. There are only about 100 gray-faced elephant shrews left. Number 6. The plowshare tortoise. The plowshare tortoise, also known as the Angonoka tortoise, is one of the rarest tortoises in the world. Native only to Madagascar, like many other creatures on the island, it has fallen victim to the illegal pet trade, land loss, and poaching. You know the drill. There's a big market for these tortoises, and so people will go to Madagascar, find them, and then sell them. In fact, they're still in high demand today, despite people banding together to try and protect the tortoise. And people would often burn the land to make room for cattle pastures in an attempt to clear them out quickly, but many of the animals, including tortoises, weren't able to get away in time. There are about 600 of them left in the wild, but it is believed they will become extinct in about 10 years. Number 5. Darrells vuntsira. Related to the mongoose, the Darrells vuntsira is actually a carnivorous mammal that hides out in the wetlands. This particular area of Madagascar is under threat from numerous sources. One of them is deforestation, but another is that numerous plant and fish species are being introduced to the area that are quite invasive. Researchers studying lemurs were pretty surprised when they saw this critter swimming in a lake and realized it was a new species. It's the only carnivore that lives in freshwater marshes. This might just be the most endangered carnivore on the planet. Number 4. The Whiteheaded langur. Found on the island of Cat Ba in Vietnam, the white-headed langur is one of the rarest mammals on Earth. Adults are a dark chocolate brown, while their babies have a golden orange fur. The island they live on has become a place of mass industrial expansion, and their habitats are being destroyed left and right. What's more, the island is also a tourist attraction, which limits their movements. Even worse still is that poachers kill them for their meat, and their bones and body parts are sold on the black market. At present, there are believed to be no more than 58 white-headed langurs in the world, and scientists speculate that within 30 years, they will be fully extinct. Number 3. The Vaquita. The Vaquita porpoise is also known as the panda of the ocean because of the big rings around its eyes. They are pretty small, only about 4 feet long, and they usually weigh less than 100 pounds. It's also one of the rarest animals on the planet, found off the Gulf of California, and they usually only stay in groups of 3. The Vaquita, along with another animal, the totoaba, are being hunted literally to death for their bladders, which can sell for up to $10,000 in China. The elite in China believe it to have magical and miraculous health benefits, which are completely untrue. There are organized crime units that are trying to capture the porpoises and sell them for parts on the black market. Authorities are bribed to turn a blind eye, and scientists estimate there are only about 30 of them left in the wild. The Sea Shepherd is a non-profit group that is trying to help save the Vaquita, and they usually battle it out on the hostile coastline. Number 2. The Amur leopard. It may surprise you to know that the Amur leopard is native to Russia and China. That speaks a lot to their ability to cope with any climate, as the temperatures in those regions, especially in Russia, can drop to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's not the weather that the Amur leopard has to fear. As you know by now, it's us. Not only because of habitat loss, but because, not unlike in Africa, there are many who illegally hunt this big cat for fun and their fur. At last count, there were about 100 of these cats left on Earth after intense conservation efforts, which is almost double what it was just 3 years ago. So finally, some good news. Number 1. The Hainan gibbon. There are many primates in the world, but few are as rare as the Hainan gibbon, and their numbers aren't improving. In fact, there are less than 24 left in the world today. Known to live on an island around China called Hainan, hence where they got their name, these creatures used to be everywhere. In fact, several decades ago, about 6,000 Hainan gibbons were documented, and now there's around 20, maybe. So what happened? You know the answer. They were hunted down for their bones and body parts as they were viewed as prized medicinal items. It's kind of a miracle we have any animals left at all. Thanks for watching. There are many nonprofits out there trying to help, so be sure to do more research so you can get involved too. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Appropriately, because it resembles a golf ball. These cool-looking plants can be found in Mexico, specifically within an area that is less than 1 kilometer squared and requires hot, dry climates to thrive. Illegal collecting by nearby businesses and even children are the biggest threats to the golf ball, as it's considered a unique ornament and is desired for homes and gardens by people visiting the area. It's estimated that over the last 20 years, the number of golf ball plants has plummeted by over 95%. In 2011, it was reported that less than 430 mature plants were surviving by themselves in the wild, a number that is no doubt much smaller today. Okay, picking this rare exotic plant is dumb. You should all just stop it. However, it's not as dumb as actually trying to play with it. I found a golf ball growing out of the ground, guys. Oh, it exploded. Number 9 is Attenborough's pitcher plant. Named after naturalist and broadcaster Sir David Frederick Attenborough, Attenborough's pitcher plant also gets its label from its appearance, which resembles a bell-shaped pitcher of liquid complete with a lid. Officially known as Nepenthes attenboroughi, these carnivorous plants are exposed to the elements, so they're usually found full of rainwater, in addition to whatever they've happened to catch and feed on. Oh, I'm just a plant. Come on, mice, I'm hungry. They can only be found in the Philippines, going undiscovered until 2009, and are considered to be a critically endangered species. Research into the Attenborough pitcher plant's habitat revealed that there are only around 300 different plants, a number affected by their value in Japanese and Taiwanese markets. Number 8 is Pokemi boy tree. While it may have a humorous name, the Pokemi boy tree's current status is actually no laughing matter. That's because there are so few of them left to joke about. Is that because they're ticklish? I'm sorry, I'll stop. Also known as Vaquita anigadensis, this plant could easily be wiped out if something isn't done to positively affect climate change. The Pokemi boy tree is exclusively found just 8 meters above sea level on 2 of the British Virgin Islands in the Caribbean Sea. A member of the legume family, these spiny shrub-like plants are considered critically endangered due to the small areas they're found being taken up by development projects, such as real estate and hotel construction. Oh, you found one of them rare plants, huh? Yeah, but we gotta put a pool in. But the biggest risk could actually be a rise in sea levels, which, if it passes 8 meters, could drown these plants. Number 7 is the suicide palm. A truly interesting species of plant, the Tahina spectabilis gets its nickname the suicide palm due to its life cycle. Found only in northwestern Madagascar, these giant palm trees live for around 50 years and then flower, dropping seeds and dying in the process. Suicide palms' numbers are being threatened due to the increased frequency of fire, which has transformed much of the plant's natural habitat, and by livestock grazing around them, which further removes such habitat and destroys seeds before they can even begin growing. It's been estimated that only around 90 suicide palms exist today, but it's possible that that number could be as small as 30, meaning that these fascinating plants are on the verge of extinction. I'm no scientist, but if you're gonna name it the suicide palm, isn't that its job to sort of disappear after a while? I mean, it's not named the live forever plant. Number 6 is the jellyfish tree. Officially called Medusagyne oppositifolia, the jellyfish tree gets its name from the shape of its fruit after it bursts open and spreads seeds. A tropical plant, this tree can only be found at 4 sites off the east coast of Africa, with every specimen within 2 kilometers of the ocean. It can grow up to 10 meters tall and has a dark colored bark with deep fissures in it. Once considered to be completely extinct, a handful of them were actually found in the 1970s. Still, they're considered to be critically endangered, as only one of the sites where they've been found is repopulating, while the other 3 have only been aging. It's estimated that only 86 mature jellyfish trees exist today, and that number is shrinking faster than it's growing. I think there's a direct correlation between how cool a plant looks and how quickly it goes extinct. You never see shrubs disappearing. Number 5 is the Western Underground Orchid. The Rhizoanthella gardneri, or Western Underground Orchid, is such a rare plant that its precise locations are actually kept secret from the public in an effort to keep their numbers from decreasing any faster than the rate that they already are. Native to the Western Australia outback, these beautiful orchids are actually classified as a parasite. Sounds like the same classification as some of the women in Hollywood. It spends its entire life cycle submerged under the soil, surviving by leaching nutrients from a fungus that grows on the roots of broom bush instead of through photosynthesis as normal orchids do. Considered to be critically endangered, these mysterious plants are truly bizarre, making them desirable to many. To date, it's estimated that there are only around 50 of them in 5 locations under the soils in Australia. Okay, hold up. If these things are underground, how do we really know that they're disappearing? There could be many. Kinda like Ninja Turtles. Number 4 is the Ascension Island Parsley Fern. Unique to Ascension Island, a volcanic landmass in the South Atlantic Ocean, the Ascension Island parsley fern can only be found on the steep slopes of Green Mountain. First recorded in 1842, these small ferns feature yellow-green leaves that resemble parsley. Much of the plant life on Ascension Island was destroyed either by humans directly destroying its habitat or through the introduction of invasive animal species such as goats, sheep, rabbits, and rats that were brought in by Portuguese explorers and ate much of it. But for the plants on Green Mountain, life was also strongly affected by the introduction of outside plant species to the area by British botanists looking to change the soils and climate. As of 2003, the parsley fern is considered extinct outside of the preservation area. Man, I've said it before, leave it up to the goats to always be causing trouble. Number 3 is the parrot's beak. Found only in the Canary Islands, the Lotus bertholati, also known as parrot's beak, coral gem, and lotus vine flower, is a perennial flower that is cultivated for its ornamental look. The species has leaves that are divided into 3 to 5 leaflets, each of which are 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters long and covered in tiny hairs that appear silver in color. Covered in tiny hairs, huh? I might belong to this species. The flowers range in color from orange red to bright red and are shaped like a pea flower. Many consider the parrot's beak to be extinct in the wild, as none have been found occurring naturally for several years. Back in 1884, the species was already labeled as an exceedingly rare species, and its beauty had many collecting them for their gardens or arrangements, making its numbers decline even faster. Number 2 is the Venda cicada. The Encephalartos hirsustus, or Venda cicada, is a plant species native to South Africa. Found at altitudes ranging from 1,287 to 1,609 kilometers above sea level, these fern-like plants were last spotted in 2004 by helicopter surveyors, who reported only finding around 219 plants, well below the 400 to 500 that were estimated to be in existence. However, in 2006, ground rangers from the Limpopo provincial government failed to locate a single Venda cicada, drawing questions as to what happened to them or if they're even still around. The Venda cicada is classified as a critically endangered plant species, and many believe it's already extinct, claiming other variations found are either man-made or of different cicada subspecies. Man, these things are rare, kind of like the Baldus santorois. One of a kind, pray for me. And number 1 is the wood cicada. The Encephalartos woodii, also known as the wood cicada, is the rarest plant on the planet that we know of. Unique to the forests of South Africa, these species are actually extinct in nature, only existing in man-made facilities and cloned in order to reproduce. First discovered in 1895, the wood cicada is a palm tree that can reach as high as 6 meters. Its trunk has a diameter of 30 to 50 centimeters, and it's topped with dark green leaves. Due to the fact that the wood cicada is dioecious, meaning it requires both male and female plants to form a new one, and a female plant has never been found in the wild, this plant only exists in protected gardens. Only one naturally occurring male version of the species exists, and was relocated to save the plant from true extinction. Wait, one of these things needs a male and a female partner? These plants be getting freaky. So those are